It is with great sadness that I have to announce that my police case has been closed because they didn't find the person who attacked me, unfortunately. And they said, like, of course they can continue the investigations if I happen to come up with new information or new clues that could help them find the perpetrator. But I haven't, because I can't remember, and I still haven't been able to recall. And I've just been really focusing on managing my anxiety in terms of like exercising, doing the breathing exercises, talking to my therapist, talking to my friends and family about these things and stuff, But I think if I had more support, like if I had more compassion the night that it happened, if for example when I went to the hospital, nobody asked me like, hey, is it an intimate issue, because I come there with a black eye. I'm thinking they're gonna ask me, did your boyfriend do this to you? You can tell us, we won't tell anyone, this is a safe place. Nope. I'm thinking when I'm telling the police officer that, because I even told the officer, I remember telling the officer that I was having my fan, and I was saying, yes, my friend said my fan fell into the street. And I'm thinking the officer is going to be like, okay, let's take a picture of the fan. Let's take a picture of your black eye. Let's take a picture of all this as evidence of what has happened to you. I'm thinking like he's actually really going to document my attack. But he just took my statement and that was it. And then he told me to sign it off, and then he told me to give him the copies of my report from the hospital, and that was about it. The only people that have really shown me remorse is the people from my health insurance and my employers, because when I told my employers what happened, they were like mortified. They were like, huh? And I was like, yeah, y'all, this what happened. That's the tea. And they were like, bitch. So it was my employers and my health insurance. They were also very compassionate in terms of resolving this. And like, even the lady, when I called and I explained everything to her, she was like, I'm really sorry this happened to you. Like, those two people or institutions were the only people that showed me any means of compassion. Because I remember also when I was in Namibia, I had also another situation with the police. And the police officer also reassured me. He told me, like, nobody has a right to put your hands on them. No one has a right to threaten you. No one has a right to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, even if this person feels like you deserve it in some way, it's not their right to do that to you. And I was like thinking, that people are gonna like actually feel sorry for me, bruh. Nobody did. The eye doctor didn't. The eye doctor even said something racist to me. And the eye doctor was like, oh, you can't really see the black eye on your complexion, so it's not really a big deal. You can still go to work. And I was like, huh? And when I told my friends, they were like, yeah, why didn't you say anything back to him? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And I was just like, I feel like also as a black person, I don't know if other black people feel the same. Please, let's talk about this in the comments. But as a black person, I feel like whenever I experience something racist, it's like it becomes my job now to deal with this racist thing. Like, I'm not the racist person, but now I have to deal with the racism. You can also see this with other people. If you look at the case of Erica Mena and Spice from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Erica Mena had hurled some racial slurs to Spice when they were arguing, allegedly. And Spice now is the one who is in charge of talking about everything, going to the table talk about all this stuff, spreading awareness about racism, spreading awareness about the terms that Erica Mena allegedly used, like monkey and stuff, like now it's the victim's responsibility to deal with this racist act. And that is something that I find so exhausting. So when this doctor said this to me, it was now my job to either decide if I'm going to formally take it up as a report to some kind of institution to have him as a health practitioner, pay for what he said to me, or to embarrass him on TikTok or something like that, you know what I mean? Or go on Google reviews and then say that this person is so racist and stuff. It's like, it's now my job to do this, even though I am innocent in the whole thing and I didn't orchestrate for this to happen, and I never anticipated for this person to be racist to me, and I just feel like also it was also like another incident that I had at work shortly after. My colleague had touched my braids, right? And not only did she touch my braids, like, you know. She also touched my scalp, right? And she was like, aren't these braids like heavy for you? Like, is it not painful? And I was so shocked. Like, I didn't, you know, there's a video of Amara La Negra when she's on a TV show in her country, I think, and then the people touch her hair and she's just standing there, and everyone in the comments was like, how can she just be standing there and stuff. I actually can understand how she felt, because I was very taken aback by that, because I was like, why is this person putting their fingers like in my head? And I was like, I've seen how white people behave amongst themselves, and especially in Germany, German people don't really like touch each other like that unless they are in a relationship, or it's kids, or it's like an adult playing with kids or something. But like adults among themselves, we are not very like affectionate and touchy and things like that. And even if we are, it's the usual arms, shoulder, elbow, hands, you know, it's never anything else. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to teach this lady a lesson, because I feel like also some white people don't understand that there are actual repercussions for your racism. So I decided I'm going to go to my boss and I'm going to tell my boss what this lady did, and I'm going to explain to my boss how this is racist and how I feel like an animal, because people think they can just come up to me and pet me. Like in Germany, people ask the owners of the dogs permission to pet the dogs. So why are you not asking me permission to touch my body? And I'm a human being. I should be more valuable than a dog, first of all. Okay? And we don't even know each other like that at work for you to touch me in that way. Like, we're not even that close. I would expect it probably from another colleague of mine that I'm closer to, but even her, she hasn't done that. She's never mentioned anything about my race. We actually talk about racism and stuff because she's also not German. But anyways, I decided to report her, and then my boss went to talk to her, and my boss explained to her that this is actually something very serious, and if I had decided to take it up with my boss like in a formal way, then she would have gotten fired or suspended or had to pay a fine or something like that, because we signed an extra contract that says like we will not be prejudiced, discriminatory, or racist towards other people based on their background. So she came to me and she was like, she was really victimizing herself, you know. She was like, you could have just told me, why did you have to go tell the boss? So anyway, she was just trying to make herself look like the victim, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that you were so sensitive to people touching your hair and stuff. And I was like, it's not about me being sensitive to people touching my hair, it's about the blatant fact that touching my hair just because I'm black is racist. And my boss also agreed with me, because she was like, yeah, even if I've never seen a hairstyle before, nothing would compel me to go to this person and just touch their hair or something. And if I wanted to, I would have asked them, because I know the reason why I want to touch their hair. And I feel like a lot of people who are racist, they don't know they know the reason why, but they ignore that reason. And the people who do acknowledge the reasons are the people who usually ask you before they do something, or they educate themselves on something before they ask you about it. Like someone will probably be like, oh, I watched this documentary about your country, is this and this true, you know, or does everybody live like this, or whatever. So then obviously like for example, my other colleague came to me and she was like, yeah, I was watching this documentary and I was like seeing that like our skin is actually different because of the melanin. So do you also use sunscreen? Because I had a colleague of mine from another country and she would always tell me like that she needs a lot of sunscreen. I was like, everybody actually needs sunscreen because all skin is the same. Like all skin is the same, it's just the color that's different. We all need the same things. We all need we all need sunscreen and stuff. And I was like, yeah, there's also this whole historical propaganda effect behind it, because our melanin was often used to substantiate the fact that we were better slaves than white people or lighter skinned slaves, because we were able to withstand the sun more, we could work outside for longer, stuff like that. So she was like, and then she went home and she went to read more on it and stuff like that. And she was like, she was even crying when when I was explaining this to her. She was like even crying, and I was like, yeah, and it's been going on. And there are even some black people who believe that they don't need sunscreen because our skin is indestructible and stuff like that. So anyways, with that being said, I just wanted to say that like I feel like as a people, whether black, Indian, non-white, all non-white people, I feel like it's our place to report these people and take it up in a space where they actually face real consequences than just like people blocking them or canceling them. Like report it to your employer or your principal or whatever, because I feel like us just talking about it to these people and calling them racist to their face, it doesn't change anything until we actually affect the things. Like, for example, Erica Mena has now been fired from the reality show. Now that her pockets are being affected, she's going to understand because it's something that she cares about. So anyways, that being said, thank you again for the support and the love that you guys have shown me throughout this whole time, and for constantly always being there for me. I really love you and I appreciate it. Bye.